What's up, guys? Welcome to Bro Beats. Today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 problems every beginner producer has that absolutely needs to stop. If you guys haven't subbed already, make sure that sub button because it does help me out a lot. So going into number 1, we have patience. Now this is like a 3-in-1. And patience just means that a lot of producers, they want to make beats really fast. Their favorite producers always tweeting stuff like, oh, I made a beat in 10 minutes. I made a beat in 5 minutes, and they want to do that and they want to be that good. But what y'all don't know is it used to take them a really long time to make one single beat, probably like a day or 3 days to make one beat, come back and keep working on it. So I would encourage y'all to do that and just start taking your time and just really listening to the beat and take your time with the drums and everything, because your beat will come out a lot better in the end. So like the second one to this one would be producers doing on the grid beat making, and I'll pop up an example of what I mean by that. All right, so here's an example of what the drums will sound like when they're completely on the grid or just kind of made on the grid. All right, and a lot of beginners drums sound exactly like this, right? It sounds very robotic and just computerized. All right, and it sounds like an AI made it, which is understandable. You're still learning and everything, but here's some things that you can do to this to make it better. And basically what that would be is just offsetting things. So we can start with the piano first, and we just go on down and just fix each one. So with this piano, one simple thing you do, and I'm not gonna go in and just make a complete melody, whatever, but we're just gonna do simple fixes. All you have to do is just put 1 or 2 things off of the grid, right? So you can see all these are completely on the grid. This one it's on the white line. So we can just take this one and offset it a little bit, create some groove. Now let's go back here and let's simplify this kick. Let's put one here, let's offset one there, and we can keep this one offsetted and this one too. Okay, and now we can listen, and it should have a little bit more groove and sound a little bit better. Right, and it sounds like it has a little bit more structure. So you can see like these drums out here, they're just random, right? When you're a beginner, you really don't know like what patterns to use. You just kind of put stuff. So just erase these and simplify it. Just for the video, I'm gonna just do this real quick. The open hat, again, this is completely on the grid, which works sometimes if you know what you're doing, but I usually just place these here, somewhere like that. And we got like these snares and perks, and you can just place these in between. Now these are like the sweet spots right here. So you can choose either one. We can choose one there and just put one at the end. And you'll see this one, it has a lot more bounce and everything. So I'll play it. Now the last thing that goes into patience would be not having structure in your drums. And I kind of showed that on the last example. But here I'm gonna go into more detail what I mean by that. So here I have like a more realistic example. I have a sample here, and then I have just some drums I would use, right? So as you can see, everything is simplified and it has structure. So I'm building, basically what I'm doing is when I'm taking my time, I'm listening to my head, I'm going, okay, so let's delete this kick here and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so in my head right now, I heard, okay, boom, I hear kick right there. And another one right here. So you can see how you're building it. So when you're just trying to get a beat done, try to do real fast, you just clicking stuff, right? Okay, which sounds fine, but again, it has structure, so I can do that. So let's just go ahead and just put that back where it was at. So we got our snare clap, that's easy. So with my hi-hats, you can see that this is strategic. A lot of people, they just come here and just, oh, I'm gonna do some hi-hat rolls. I'm playing this hi-hat with my, let me see, I'm playing it with my kick and everything. So you can see there's a steady rhythm here, and then when I do this hi-hat slide or chop, it plays exactly with this open hat. So it creates a slide effect. And you can see right here again, it's playing, I put another like chop right here, right with the open hat. Right, everything is strategic. Not all the time, but once you have that initial structure, you'll be fine. All right, and then again here you can see this little dot here is offset this one here is offset. All right, you can see everything is offset. And once you get to your perks and stuff, it should be really easy because you have that structure already and you can really place these anywhere, or you don't even need them at all. Okay, so that is the end of number 1. So now we're going to move on to number 2. Now, number 2 would be just chaotic 808s. Now, usually people tell you, oh, make sure you tune your 808s and all that, right? But the problem is when you're actually placing the notes. Now, you can come in here and tune it, do the Edison thing and tune it, but that's not the problem. The problem is that they place it, they don't know where to place the 808. So say you have basic chords. These are the most basic chords, right? Now, what most of these people will do, they'll just place the 808 anywhere and they just think that the 808 is a drum. It sort of is a drum, but it's really a instrument. Okay, it's supposed to be an instrument anyway. You have like a bass line or something like that. A lot of realistic instruments, they're like the basses, they're actual instruments. They're not drums. Okay, so you have to play it like an instrument and make sure that it's in tune or in harmony with your chords or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna play this and show you exactly what it would sound like usually when you hear one of these beats. All right, now it doesn't sound horrible, but that's just because the 808 is so low. But if you were to turn those up, you would start to notice how off they are. So I'm gonna show you how to fix these real quick. So once you make your chords, so let's delete this. Once you make your chords, you can put on ghost notes and you can see the notes that you place. All right, and usually the lowest note in your chord would be like a good place to start. So you can put one here. All right, and then you can look at the rest and it's a guide to like where to put the other notes. So I'm gonna just do something basic here. We can put one there. All right, and like I said earlier, just take things slow. You know, a lot of people, they want to start doing all these crazy 808s and it slides. Take it slow first, and maybe you can just add a few in there. All right, so that concludes the 808 portion. Now we're gonna move on to the next. So the third one would be chords, and what I mean just by chords is start using chords. Now, a lot of beginners, what they do is they just use like a lot of sounds, but they use one single note melodies, which can be done right. There's a lot of beats that sound really good with just simple melodies. But if you're a beginner, I think it's important to just start experimenting with chords and stuff. So I'm gonna show you an example of what I mean, and I'll just play it. And it's not a bad melody. It's just, you're gonna notice it sounds really thin and it just sounds kind of like weak. I'm gonna play it. Okay, so if we add some chords to that, you'll see that it'll sound a lot more full and a lot better. So I'll just go ahead and play it. What we can do is offset this one, okay, and then we can play it. All right, you can see how much better it sounds just by adding those chords. All right, so that's going to be into number 3. So now we're going to move on to number 4. All right, so now the fourth one would be just layering the same type of sounds to fit the mood of your beat. So with this, it's a lot that goes into like layering. You got like the layering with your MIDI, like your actual melody. But with this, I want to focus on basically layering your actual sound selection. Right, so if you have multiple VSTs like I do here, like how do you go about doing that? So I think the best way, especially for a beginner, is to pick sounds that sound similar, not the same sound, but the mood. It matches the mood. So for example, I have a bell here, okay, and it's kind of like a sad kind of like ambient bell, right? So I'll play that by itself real quick. Okay, so you can see how ambient it is, right? So why would I open up another VST and grab a EDM lead, okay, or like a super gritty sound. I wouldn't do that because it does not match the mood of the beat. So I have another sound I pick here, right? It's a similar sound. It's pretty much a pad, a bell, right? But you can see how it adds because it has a similar mood. All right, and then I have these other sounds. These are just guitars here. Okay, so you're just adding on to it, and you just want to pick sounds that match the mood. Another way that you can, if you're not really sure what mood it is, just look for the effects. A lot of reverb and delay will kind of give you this mood as well. You don't really see too much reverb and delay on like super upbeat stuff. It's more popular with like more like minor type of stuff. All right, so I'll add this and I'll just add on one by one. Okay, now we can add the last one. You can see how this sound is similar, all right, but it still fits the mood. Okay, and they're not the same exact sound, because if you pick the same exact sound, so if I pick 4 pads, it's going to sound very mushy and muddy, and it's going to be hard to mix later and everything, and you're going to have to EQ out a lot of the frequency. So you can see they're different sounds, but they match the mood. So we play them all together. Okay, so now we're going to the last one, which is number 5. So at number 5, we have using the wrong genre sounds. So if you're trying to make a smooth, moody type beat, right, you wouldn't use some EDM leads on that beat, right? Or just as your sound selection. But the problem with this, and the reason I'm bringing this up, is because a lot of beginners, they don't have Omnisphere. They don't have these VSTs that give you the sounds that you want. And they're forced to use, you know, stock VSTs, which are geared towards EDM, which means that you have to use synthesized sounds all the time, which most of the time it's not going to sound good, especially if you're trying to make trap beats. So I'm gonna show you the difference here. All right, and this is the EDM. These are like EDM sounds. Okay, like from this little EDM section in Omnisphere. And let's close these out and let's play it. Right, and it doesn't even sound that bad. I did them justice by picking some decent sounds here, but you can see it doesn't really fit exactly the genre. So if we play this one, the one I had earlier, all right, and you can see how it fits a lot better, and I didn't even mix this. All right, you can see everything mesh well together. But yeah, that's gonna be it for number 5 in this video. Hopefully this video was helpful. Just implement any one of these things and it should help you improve. All right, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.